Hi there, JJ here. This is Season 63, Wars number 1 and 2. This is the big thing format, so you get to bring 2 champions, and there's 10 fights on the map, and you take 1 champion, each worth 10 attack bonus. First war, Faye matched up against S63, and it was not a great war for us. We definitely could have played a lot better, but personally, I'm taking Node 5 Serpent with Kushala. This is the node where you gain force charges when you intercept, and there is ebb and flow intercept. However, you actually don't need to intercept to get your to remove the protection, because the way that the vigor, the way the vigor works is that it's additive percentages. So the minus 40% of the protection doesn't really matter when I have a plus 300% from 3 vigors. So here the plan is just to intercept a bunch. The only important thing about intercepting is when you intercept before a special, because that will give you a fury, and the fury will increase the damage of your dot. So over here, I'm just parrying everything I can and keeping up the spells, trying to keep his charges below the 4 threshold so that I'm able to remove his resist up. But it's pretty unlikely that I keep it, but I'm doing very good damage. Or a minute into the fight, he's already down to 30%. I have only 26 charges, but probably going to intercept a good bit here. 1 intercept, 2 intercept, and there he combos me. That's why I was using an invuln boost, because I knew that there was a high likelihood of me going for a regular intercept and him just hitting me, because intercepts are very inconsistent in this game. But this fight is winding down. I'm trapped in the corner, but I have 3 blocking spells up, so I'm very confident. Been another special, and I think I'm going to go for an intercept after. The only problem with this fight is that if you're trapped in the corner, you're unable to go for an intercept with Kushala because of the inexorable, but over there he didn't have the inexorable. And then, yeah, so the synergy I was running allowed for me to decrease his ability power rate, because Kushala decreases ability power rate with her intercept spell by 10% each, which is up to 30%, and with the shield synergy, you reduce it by additional 10% per spell. So I was reducing it by 60% when I had 3 spells, so that was the point of having that synergy. We ended up losing to SSX, and it was like 7-2 or something. It was really bad first war. And now we're on the mini account, and the mini account is in love again. They're in tier 1 right now, so all the nodes are the same. All the matchups are a little different now, but they will become very similar. And I'm taking node 5 again, this time Destroyer, and I'm going to be using Kate. And basically, I'm going to use my riposte arrow to get the intercept to put his unstoppable on cooldown, and then I'm just going to go for intercepts. 2 in a row, 3 in a row, 4 in a row, 5 in a row. Got 5 intercepts, not in a row. I got 4 in a row, then 1. And I have a good amount of roll force charges now. And then I'm going to just try to bait special 2s, and then throw special 1s to keep the cold snap up. However, here's a problem with fighting Destroyer on this map. The way it works is that everything scales with the massive health pools, including your damage, and then the defender's abilities. And one ability Destroyer has is that whenever you have a buff on you, he will reflect damage that you do back onto him. So whenever I have a dexterity buff on me, I'm going to be taking a lot of rupture damage, because my damage is a lot higher than usual. So I've already procced 90% of my health's already gone. So I just have to be conscious of that. But I'm definitely doing a lot of damage with cold snaps. I get to pause here. I go for another pause. I go for that, and then I go for a heavy. I'm not going for intercepts right now. I'm just trying to keep his destruction charges low, and then the cold snaps up. And I'm bringing the Chavez synergy so I can stack 3 cold snaps, but I don't think I get 3 up at a time that much, but it doesn't really matter. It's more about just like keeping consistent damage and not getting hit. We're a minute and a half in, and he's really ticking down, although there's only 1 cold snap on him right now. So I'm going to go for this, and I go for a riposte for an intercept, and then I'm going to go for a full 5 combo into a special 1. And then this cold snap should take him out. Anyway, the score for the love war was actually really good. We only died, I think, once or maybe twice. So really happy with our performance. And yeah, so Love won the first war, Faye lost the second, but it's alright, we'll move on. Next up, we have war number 2. This is a very interesting fight. This is Count Nefaria versus Node 3 Spider-Woman. And Spider-Woman is kind of annoying because of her evade, but the way it works is that her evade is a percentage chance based on how many debuffs you have on you. So let's say you have 5 debuffs on you. She has like a 7% per debuff or something similar to that. But the cool thing about Nefaria's synergy with Iron Man is that his decelerates are a flat ability accuracy reduction. And what that means is that it reduces the amount by that percentage amount. So let's say she has a 10% chance to evade and I have a 7% decelerate. Instead of it being 7% of 10%, it's directly 7%. So now she only has a 3% chance. So let's say I have 3 decelerates up, each worth 19%. That means that if she has less than a 57% evade chance, she will never evade. So you don't need to keep up as many decelerates as you think to fully counter the evade. But that's not the main point of this fight. The main point of this fight is to stay in my Ionic Overdrive and then double bash back to Heal Reverser. And then I'm going to try to push her to Special 2 or bait Special 1. It doesn't really matter. The only thing that I'm really focusing on is making sure that I throw specials when the fumble timer is on. But it also doesn't really matter because with the ensnare I can't evade, but I can still parry and beta heavy and then punish. And once again, she can't evade, so I don't need to do my openings during parry. And another nice thing is that whenever I take damage, I'm just going to heal it right back because I can siphon healing. And since the healing is so big because of her huge health bar, I'm going to be gaining a ton of health there. So see, she failed my evade because of the ensnare. Doesn't really matter. Here I'm getting chopped in the corner. The end of the fight is all very sloppy. I get hit by the Special 1, and then I double dex, and then I get hit. But I'm starting to regen it all back. Even through despair, I'm getting decent regen. I get that ensnare on me, and then she hits me with another Special 1, and I'm just like, just die. Pretty easy fight. Nefaria is very hard to die with, and yeah, I definitely take that fight again. I feel very safe and confident with that. Last up, we have Yelena on node number 5 with Jean Grey. This is the intercept node again. And over here, I'm just going to try to get a ton of intercepts, then an SP1, SP2 rotation off. And yeah, so this war with Love was very close. It was tied 5-5 because there was a bad assignment, and we didn't really figure out how to do the fight until after 5 deaths. So we had 5 deaths on this one fight, and they had 5 deaths in general. We were winning on time, I think, so we really had to not die. There was not that many fights left. So here, I go for an intercept, and then in the middle of this fight, she just refuses to go for intercept. So she baits heavy, and then she intercepts me, and my destructible is gone, so is my shield. I bait the Special 1. I'm trying to calm down, reset myself. I go for an intercept. Nope. I go for another intercept. Nope. I go for another one. She just dexes. I go for another one. Nope. I'm just hitting her block at this point, and at this point, I'm really worried I finally get one off, and I throw the Special 1 to get some neuros on her. And at this point, I'm like, okay, after the Special 1, I want to get a bunch of intercepts in a row and then throw an SB2. But I don't throw my Special 2 because first of all, I got hit, but now I'm like, all right, I should bait this special from her, but I don't. And that doesn't do a lot of damage because if I baited the special first, I could have done a full fabric combo ending with a light, so I'd have had a lot more neuros to work with. So one special 2 rotation in, and she's at 57% health, but she's at 84 combo. So at this point, I'm thinking I really have to get this final special off. And then one of the worst things happens. Somehow, with all the DOT that I'm doing, I push her over 50% threshold with basics. So it's really not looking good. So she has 150 hits, but I realized if I go for an intercept, I could go medium, and then Special 2. And with the 1 million burst on each hit, she's very, very dead. So honestly, quite an easy fight that I was bringing nothing over. Faye ended up winning this war. We beat some alliance, I don't remember who we matched. And then Love also won this war. We ended up only on 5 deaths from that one fight, and then we won, I think we came 6-5, and then they just didn't care anymore. They went 9-5, so very happy with how we're doing. I think Love is probably in P1 Masters area, or no, they're in Masters. Faye is probably in the P1 Masters area. Anyways, thanks so much for watching.